this is Mango Thunderslice. Today we are talking about colloidal silver, which is antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial substance you can manufacture at home. What is colloidal silver? Well, a colloidal mineral, any type of metal, a colloidal suspension is tiny nanometer-sized particles suspended inside water. So colloidal silver is essentially tiny little silver particles in the nanometer size range that are suspended within a solution of water. Why is colloidal silver important? Because the colloidal silver as a metal has antibacterial properties. It's able to neutralize any virus, bacteria, fungus inside the body. So obviously this has health implications. Colloidal silver can be used for cuts, burns, scrapes, infections, externally, internally. For hundreds of years, people have put silver coins inside their drinking water containers so that the water would not become polluted with microbes and other disease-causing agents. And the reason that this is because the silver has an antibacterial property. Up until the creation of the FDA in the 1930s, colloidal silver was administered by doctors. In fact, it was the most common antibacterial substance used by doctors and prescribed among the general population for treating infections. Well, then with the advent of the FDA and antibiotics, of course, now antibiotics are used for every infection. But colloidal silver, in contravention to the antibiotics, there's never been a superbug that can't be killed by colloidal silver. And the reason for this is because silver actually kills these foreign pathogens electrically rather than chemically. Whereas antibiotics are cultured from using fungus against bacteria, colloidal silver kills the foreign pathogen electrically. And for this reason, there are no microbes, diseases, Ebola, whatever, that can develop a resistance to it. In fact, the United States government right now in Africa is using colloidal silver to combat the Ebola virus. Why does this matter to you? Well, of course, we all know that getting prescribed prescription antibiotics, other medicines to take care of diseases and health problems can be very expensive, whereas colloidal silver is very inexpensive to manufacture. You know, you can make your own batch. Again, it's effective against all forms of microbes, foreign pathogens, bacteria, fungus, and viruses. But, you know, you can't patent silver, so nobody can make $1 billion off of it. You know, at most they can make a little bit of money. But here, let me show you. We're going to make some colloidal silver. So we got all our supplies right here. We have our DC power supply. We have a hot plate with a magnetic stirrer. Essentially, it's going to start spinning on there. Make sure the water inside our jug here is going to stay fluid, circulating, so that we get a nice even distribution, no clumps of silver. We got our distilled water. We have our electrodes. We have gold, silver, and copper. We only need one of each. I use the copper and the silver to make the colloidal silver, the gold and the silver to make the colloidal gold. Got them all brushed off with my copper thingy here, and we're about ready. Let's get some distilled water in here. Steam distilled water, so we know we've got the ultra pure H2O. We don't have any contaminants, any salts or chlorines or anything like that, which could interfere with the process and make some nasty byproduct chemicals that we definitely don't want to be ingesting. Colloidal silver is safe, but all that other stuff is not. Alright, now we got our little magnetic stir. We got the jug full of distilled, and we whoop, and it sits down there at the bottom. So then the magnet inside the hot plate, sometimes I put it at an angle so it gets down into the corner, it can spin more easily. So it's going to be spinning down there and making sure that the water is circulating, like Willy Wonka and his chocolate. Except I don't have the money for a whole waterfall, we just got a little spinning magnet. Get excited. Bag clip here to hold the electrodes in place. We got our silver and our copper. I'm going to be putting these right in like that. I'm going to be hooking up the red wire, which is attached to the positive on the power supply, to the silver. Electrons flow from the positive to the negative, from the plus to the minus. And with every little electron that flows through the water from the silver electrode to the copper. It's going to bring with it a little tiny itty bitty nano-sized particle of silver, and that is what we are making, colloidal ionic silver. Alright, we're pretty much set up here. We have the red lead attached to the silver, we have the black lead attached to the copper, meaning that silver electricity is going to the copper. Only the one that is attached to the positive lead will create the colloidal mineral, so we are not creating colloidal copper and colloidal silver here, we're just creating colloidal silver. If we reverse these two, we'd be making colloidal copper. We're going to start the stirring. Only the silver is touching the water, not the attachment of the solder, because we don't want colloidal solder, we want colloidal silver. Alright, here we go. Fire it up. The advantage of having the DC power supply is we can actually manage exactly how much electricity is going through these electrodes from one to the other. Right now we've got about 31 volts. Essentially the current has to fight its way through this pure water. Pure water, of course, to those who have studied chemistry, is not very conductive. As soon as these little colloidal particles start getting created, this water will start getting more electrically conductive, and we'll see a cloud of silver coming off of the electrode, and that will be the colloidal silver being made. It has now been 24 hours and it's actually light outside, but we're dark in here so that you guys can see exactly how we can test the purity. You see the voltage is coming down, we're holding steady at current about 30 milliamp. This right here is called the Tyndall effect, Tyndall. And it's basically, as you can see, there's not large particles, but very small particles suspended within the solution. These are nanoscopic particles of silver that are capable of basically killing any infectious pathogen, whether bacteria, virus, or fungus. Pretty awesome, huh? Alright, and now we're gonna kill the power. Open up the blinds so we get some sun in here, and I'm gonna filter it out. And we got ourselves a batch of colloidal silver. Yoo! Alright, so we got our silver, but we got some basically silver oxide buildup that kind of fell off the electrodes and is chilling down there. Basically some gray gunk, nothing harmful, just silver oxide, normal in any batch you're gonna make. What we're gonna do now is filter it out to get that so it's pure. So we got 3 coffee filters. Basically gonna put them in here like this. And then I'm gonna pour the colloidal silver through here. Fully filtered. We got Hooch, the Wonder Pooch, chilling over here. He's hot, as am I, as are we all. So he's got a wet blanket on him. So now basically I have a blue bottle. This is my personal colloidal silver bottle. And what I usually do is I keep this as my reserve. And I've got this little guy. I have some Source Naturals colloidal silver that I bought back in the day. And I just refill this, and I've got it with a little dropper. I can put it on my hands, and I can just wash that colloidal silver on my face, keep my face generally clear. And it's just useful in 1,000 different ways. People got stinky feet, make a plate of colloidal silver, put their feet in it, and no more stinky feet. All those bacteria are dead. It's got a lot of uses. You can drink it. It's safe to drink, and manufacturing it with this way. Take it easy there, Hooch. This electrode is 0.9999. That's 4 nines purity of silver. So this is food grade. This is medical grade colloidal silver. There are ways of making even more powerful colloidal silver. The true colloidal silver. This is technically ionic colloidal silver, but that's high voltage AC equipment. Very dangerous. Could end up hurting myself, but so I decided to stick with the low voltage DC. But that's basically colloidal silver, and now I'm going to fill up my bottle, and we're good.